Good morning. Hi, I'm here. That's all I can say. I'm here. I don't know about you, but I'm a firm believer. I kid you not, the stuff that happens in a person's life. Oh my God. Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. It is Thursday, and I have to pause to say that because I can't believe it's Thursday. Why is it Thursday already? The month is going so fast. It's almost as if it's it's the end of August practically, and here we are, folks. It's September. You know what happens in September? Fall. You know what happens in fall? Halloween. Oh, my favorite time of the year. Do you know that? That's one of my favorite holidays, Halloween and Thanksgiving. Those two, that period between Halloween and Thanksgiving is like golden for me. I mean, like, I'm just like on cloud nine. So, Halloween, so it's September. So, we get one more month to kind of observe that not only has summer gone, will be going, but that we're approaching fall. So, God help us all. Here in the Midwest, can I just ask you all to pray for me? Dr. James Simpson, is that you? Good morning. Dude, you need to inbox me after this, okay? Dr. Simpson, inbox me, okay? And I kid you not. Dr. Simpson, you heard me? You heard me, right? Okay, inbox me. And I kid you not. I mean to say that this has been a week. If you ever heard about baptism by fire, a friend of mine, Dr. Tarver, sent me a text message this morning, and I hadn't spoken to her in like about a week or 2 weeks. So a couple nights ago, I was giving her a rundown on on my activities, and she was like, "Dang!" This morning, she texted me back, and she was like, "Girl, you've been going through the fire," and she didn't even hear about yesterday, right? She didn't even hear about yesterday. So it was like, wait till she hears that. So this weekend, we're gonna join her. I'm gonna join her in Indiana. She's doing a thingy, right? She's doing a thingy in Indiana. So we're gonna sit down and talk to her and stuff like that. So that she can get so we can be with her and just support her in all that she does, right? She's an awesome voice here in the state of Michigan. She's one of the movers and shakers in the state. She's well known in political circles for what she does, and she's a strident. When I say strident, she's a strident believer in the rights of people everywhere. She's a voice that when I first met her 2 years ago, I was quite impressed and was quite taken by her passion for serving people. And I was very impressed by her. And I literally just said, wow, someone with that kind of passion and integrity who believes through and through without recall, without thinking of the cost to herself is truly a rare gem. Dr. Linda Lee Tarver. She's on Facebook. So if you see her on Facebook, give her a shout out. She's a good person who is always looking out for the rights of individuals everywhere. Don't worry about the political part. That's politics. She'll tell you that. But when it comes right down to it, she's in it to win it for everyone. Trust me. She takes our concerns to the highest levels of government in this country. Whatever we discuss that is of concern, she takes it to the highest levels for it to be addressed. So be assured she's a lovely person through and through, and I wish her all the best. It is my hope that she gets all the accolades. I don't think she gets any. I don't think she gets it enough for what she's been doing. A lot of the reform that you guys see here in Michigan through the through the Secretary of State, a lot of the reforms that you see came through her. They were her suggestions, especially as it affects minorities and people of color. A lot of the reforms that you have seen that have come through the Secretary of State, sort of like the Department of Motor Vehicles. In your state, it might be called Department of Motor Vehicles, but here they call it Secretary of State. Here it is known as the Secretary of State that handles all the driver's licenses issues and issues surrounding people acquiring driver's licenses, insurance, and so on, a lot of that were her concerns that she became aware of, that she brought to the highest levels of government. When she sits down, she doesn't titivate and talk carelessly and loosely. She makes reforms and suggestions, and they listen to what she says. Right, Dr. Linda Lee Tower. I'm proud to be with her. Right. So we talked about love, sex, and racism yesterday. And we talked about it from the perspective of interracial couples. And I wanted to, for some reason, the subject, when I was done, it wasn't done. If you know what I mean, it wasn't done. And I wanted to go back into it because I feel like there's something left unsaid. So today we're going to talk about love, sex, and racism part 2. Because in our world today, the confluence, the mixture, the confluence, so to put it simply, the mixture of our politics, our social activities, and our faith have created this, it has literally created this glob of human feeling that we kind of find ourselves in. It's like a big melting pot of stuff just thrown in. Just, oh, bring all your troubles. Boom. Bring all your faith. Boom. Bring all your isms. Boom. Bring whether you racist, ism, colorism, sexism, class. Just bring it all. Bring it all. Bring it all. And we've just dumped this all in this big melting pot. And now we're all sitting there like, okay. And especially for folks like me, it becomes more, I become more aware of it because I have nonprofit. I work in nonprofits. I have my own nonprofit, and I'm surrounded continually by people who are in nonprofits. So it becomes glaringly obvious. But then there are people in politics. I also go around people who are in politics, glaringly obvious. And in social settings, when you go out in social settings, people tend to stand around in little groups, glaringly obvious. And so I'm standing there and I'm an observer of people. And I'm observing how we relate to one another. And if you've ever been around in the multiplicity of circles, right, that we find ourselves in, you begin to realize that there's one commonality amongst people, is that we're human. We have feelings of love. We have feelings for sex. That is common. The second thing, you realize that as humans, we also have feelings for family, that people have family. They're married, they have a wife, they have a spouse, and they have children. So they experience not just erotic love, but they experience familial love. So when you look at all these things that are going on, it becomes obvious then that we have attached certain feelings to our social and our erotic feelings that perhaps don't belong there. In other words, what I'm saying is when we meet people who come into our lives, we tend to view them from the perspective of our inherent prejudices, our inherent social prejudices called racism and colorism. Rarely we do it. It's just in the last 20 years we start attaching stuff to people's faith and start saying people of a certain faith tend to be, but we never thought of it like that before. Maybe because we were not exposed to it. We lived in an insular world. I mean, we never had to face certain kinds of activities here in America like other people in Europe and so on had to deal with. When it landed on our doorstep after 9/11 was when we started shaking our heads like, dang, this is a real thing. We got to deal with this too. Like everybody else. Well, sucks to be us. Guess what? Everybody else in the world was dealing with acts of terror for a long time. Guess what? We were going to get it. You see what I'm saying? Right. So now, when all of this comes to, you start beginning to look at people. And in the various worlds you're in business, you're in commerce, right? You're in trade, you work in government, whether you work in city government, local government, right? Or you work in state government or certainly national, federal government. Here in America, it's federal government. You begin to see that people are people and people come from a wide cross section of the population. So all the isms that we commonly attach to individuals, you're looking at someone whom you find yourself physically attracted to, and you're like, but he's Muslim, he's Jewish, he's Turkish, he's Islamic, he's white, he's black, he's from that other country. I don't even know what that is. He's Chinese, he's Korean, he's from the Philippines, she's from India, he's from Pakistan. And you start looking, so instead of looking just at the pure human interaction, the pure physical relationship, instead of just looking at that and dealing with that in its context, we apply all these other contexts to it. And now what we have, mess, say mess. We got a royal mess on our hands. Now, I want you to study something, how racism works. And I want to bring it into focus for you all to see something. And I want you to relate to it because I know you can. So bear with me, right? A young woman named Meghan Markle, who is an American actress, she's a Black American woman, right? Met and fell in love with a man from England, a white man, who happens to be a prince. The prince has all the power that his life offers, his generations and generations, over 1,000 years of political and social power. For the rest of time, they will have power. They're going to hold on to it, right? This man felt like this is the woman he should marry. So he told his family, I don't care what you all want. If I'm not going to marry her, I'm not marrying anybody. But that's who I'm going to marry. So get with it. And his family said, well, that's your choice. We support you. So what we're going to do is put ourselves behind it. In England, before anybody in the royal family can get engaged or married, you have to have an act of parliament. It goes to parliament. The prime minister has to agree to it and sign off on it. Did you all know that? Especially with him being prince, he was like third in line to the throne or fifth in line to the throne or something. And he's visible and he's a young man. So they value him, right? So there had to be an act of parliament. So before Miss Markle, before Meghan could go any further, she was what? Investigated. They tore her life upside down to make sure that she was up to par. Now, I'm telling you something about perception. Now, this girl is just an ordinary girl who became successful on her own. She didn't do a sex tape. She didn't show her boobies. She didn't show her butt. She just went to work as an actress and did regular roles. And she didn't date 100 men. She wasn't anyone's baby mama. Okay? She wasn't anyone's side piece, side chick. They don't have pictures of her, blah, 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 blah. And she kept herself for herself. That was her standard. So when the man chose her, he knew what he chose, right? He didn't choose someone who was going to bring ill repute to the throne. He chose someone whose lifestyle could stand up to the scrutiny that he knew would come. Right? Okay. Now, here they are, start dating, and the media in England, and you and I both know that the media is prejudiced and biased, and you all know that. When they're biased, they're biased. When they're prejudiced one way, they're prejudiced one way. If today they're hating on white nationalists, they hate on white nationalists. If it's Jews tomorrow, it's Jews. If it's Muslims tomorrow, it's Muslims. If it's blacks, you all know the media. The media does not joke. They don't play. They don't like you if you're not them, one of them. The media hates this young woman. We're talking about love, sex, and racism. The media hates her. When I say hate her, I mean they hate her. Dr. Simpson, nod your head. They hate her. They tear this girl's life apart. Now, can I ask you something? Recently, she and her husband went to visit Elton John. Elton John was a good friend of Prince Harry's mother, who died in a car crash, right? Elton John sent a plane to pick them up, to take them to France to have a vacation. He's kind of like an uncle with them, you know, that kind of thing. You got to understand, that's their world. The media is envious and jealous that the prince chose a black woman. They're racist, and I've called them out. They're racist like hell, right? And they have torn her. You know what they said? Oh, she's a jet setter. She was a jet setter before she married Harry. And I've never seen a royal take a commercial plane. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Harry's brother married a white girl who is a commoner, just like Meghan, except the other girl's color is white. Do you see love, sex, and racism? Do you see racism? Does the media tear her apart for riding on private jets? No. Does the media tear her apart for her clothes and what she wears and so on? No. Why? Because she's white. But the other girl is black, so they tear her apart. Now, only God knows how the outcome of this is going to be. We just hope that it has a good outcome, because they have ripped this girl's life apart. You notice when she shows the baby, she doesn't really show a frontal picture of the baby, because there are threats. They probably are threatening to hurt her and hurt the child. So they just show the child that the child exists, but she's not showing the face of the baby. They hate her. Now, do you think that anybody needs to be in that relationship? No, you're all just like crazy right now about that, because you're thinking if it was your daughter that some guy chose and they start judging her based on our color, we all would have issues with that, don't we? As parents, you're looking on, you would have issues with that, right? As people, you're looking on it and you're like, you're all so racist. Call them out. The British media is racist. And the American media is no better, because they don't talk about Meghan Markle. You know why they don't talk about her? Because she isn't white. Because Prince Harry didn't come over here and choose one of their white princesses. Yes, NBC, ABC, CBS, whatever your names are, you all heard me say it. You're racist. You're tearing apart the life of this girl because she's not white. And Prince Harry did not choose one of your white girls whom you believe, you people who run the media, are as racist as hell. You took Tamron Hall off NBC and replaced her with Megyn Kelly. And then it backfired in your face when Megyn Kelly went on camera and said a racist comment. You're all racist. You canceled Steve Harvey's show and gave it to Kelly Clarkson, who don't know jack about talking to anybody. She doesn't even have the charisma to run a talk show. But you canceled Steve Harvey's show. You're racist, NBC. You are run by racist people. And the black people who work there are in fear of their lives. Go tell them that I said so. Come at me and come for me. I'm here for it. Because somebody needs to tell you that you're all racist. And this racist stuff. So don't accuse Donald Trump of being racist when you're all doing it. Don't go there with that. So if you're going to call out racism, call yourselves out. All of you. Because you're racist. So you're only going to point the finger at him. Why? Because he isn't doing what you want him to do right now? Because when he's ready, he turns it right around on you all and call you all out anyway. And I'm not even his supporter. I'm just calling it like it is, because he does tell it like it is. That's one thing with Trump. He's going to tell it like it is, whether you like it or not. But you're all racist. Do you see what I'm saying? It's racism. And what does racism have to do with people's love? So a guy and a girl meet and fall in love. And you're going to start telling, because she marries a rich man and she is accustomed to the lifestyle of being with a rich man, you're going to hate her because he didn't choose. So you think if you embarrass her, she's going to run away and run back to Compton and cry? Are you kidding me? You really think the British royal family, as racist as the media is, if it's one thing they're showing, the British royal family is not as racist as you believe they were. You all thought they probably were, but they're not. And you know why? Because if you look at the bigger picture, royal families exist in other parts of the world. And all the royal families talk to one another. They socialize at the same events because that's the protocol that has existed for generations. So the kings of Africa, from their royal families that you don't hear much about, they still exist. They took their country's wealth and ran away somewhere, right? The kings of Asia, the royal families, they all socialize and jet set together. This is what I'm saying. You all down here are fighting over scraps for nothing, killing each other for nothing, Girl, you meet a guy whom you like and he's doesn't look like you, doesn't look like the people you're related to, go get with the man you love and be with him. Guy, you meet a girl you like and you like her, and maybe she doesn't sound or look like your family. Get with them and get with her and love her and forget about everybody else. Because what you're doing, you're hurting yourself trying to please the world. Prince Harry said he was going to marry the person whom he loved because he learned a lesson from his parents' relationship. His father did not marry the woman he loved. He and his mother, he did not love Harry's mother. That was not the woman he loved. And that lack of love killed her in the end because she ended up divorced and was with someone whom nobody liked, and they had a car crash because they were chased by what? By the media. You know why they were chased? Because Princess Diana was going to marry an Arab guy. Remember that? Exactly. That's whom she was going to marry. And the media hated the fact that their princess deigned to fall in love with a man who did not look like her. The media did not give them a chance. They couldn't date in England. They had to go everywhere else all over the world. And they chased her until his driver crashed. Do you see what I'm saying? Love, sex, and racism. It's a study. It's fascinating. And it's a study. And I'm not pretending anything but the truth. Because the truth has to set us free. I feel like we need to confront the very worst parts of us so that we can embrace what is good about us. All the stuff that's going on in our country right now is just trying to tell us that, hey, we have some work left to do. We need to fix this part of us. NBC needs to repair its image because so far all you look is racist. You dropped Tamron Hall to go put a white girl on and blew up in your face when the white girl out racism right on camera, live. You gotta face the fact there's something wrong with your process. Do you see what I'm saying? So the media in Britain is racist when you start saying she's jet setting, but how come you don't call out the other girl who is married to the other brother? How come you don't call out that she's jet setting all over the country, all over the world? She does the same thing. She has to fly on private jets. She can't fly on commercial jets, but you don't call her out because she's white. So call it what it is. She's the one spending the money. The royal family dictates how they travel. The royal family says this is how you travel. When they travel, they have security that you don't see. The security look like just ordinary people just walking around, lolling around. That's their security. The royal family dictates that. And here you are over here. So bring that into your life, into your circle. Imagine now that you have your daughter, your precious thing, and your daughter goes to college. She comes back, and now she meets this guy whom and she's so in love. And the guy's family don't want to have anything to do with her. They think, but not because she's not smart, not because she hasn't been a good girl, but because of the color of her skin. How would you feel? You see what I'm saying? This is what we need to confront. We have to confront the worst parts of us so we can get it out. How are we going to be the city on a hill and shine a light to the world if we look like this, if we sound like this? We can't dictate how people love. We can't tell people that because you're of a different persuasion, you can't love this person. We can't say that. We can't tell people that you shouldn't be together and try to find scripture to back it up. That's the worst. I think in Islam, they say convert the infidel. The people who claim to be fundamental Christians, they act like they have, they went up with God and they were with God and Moses on the mountain. And when when Moses came down and left God up on the mountain, they stayed up on the mountain with God. So who is he? He doesn't say anything. So they want to rewrite the Bible to be configured to their own inherent racist thoughts. So they want to tell people that people should not get together. The reason I'm saying this is because it's happening and it has destroyed people. People, y'all do what you want to do. You want to go be with somebody, black, white, yellow, green, all right, go be with whom you want to be. At the end of the day, people are people. We all have to go to the toilet, and we all have to put our pants on one leg at a time. When we put on our underwear, there's no difference in how we put on our underwear that's different from anybody else. We all have to put our underwear on one leg at a time. We all have to go sit on the toilet. So when people start acting crazy, that's how you picture them. Just imagine them sitting on the toilet, and that will level. That's the greatest leveler ever, right? We might eat different things, right? But we have to eat, and we have to go to the bathroom, right? So it means then, if nothing else should humble us, that should. We need to come to ourselves and help people. We need to understand that we can't, these isms, racism, sexism, colorism, right? All these isms, they gotta go. And what's with this classism thing? In a lot of ways, I can see with classism, because it's based on money. You think you're better off than someone because you have more money than them. I can see how you can feel that way, Dr. Simpson. I can see that. You know why? You know why I can see that? Because, look at you, right? You pulled out your black card. You can hire a helicopter, right? Right now, if you feel like going to Monaco, you can, right? I'm not talking, people think money is having credit. So they can go down to the dealership, and based on their credit and if they have income, right? Because it seems like you need both, right? Sometimes you have great credit, but you don't have the income. They might take a chance, but, so people think that having credit is money, right? So they go down to the dealership, you can sign for a GM car, and they think they're winning. For some people, that's the biggest deal ever. They can go get out that new Ford F-150, and they think they're winning. And you have the nerve to disparage against someone else of a different color who has 500 times more money than you. Do you see how ridiculous it is? There's a very wealthy woman in Somalia. She's a billionaire. Her family has owned the resources of Somalia for a long time. I don't know how they got it. I'm not going to go into that. That's the politics, right? She's a black woman. Very nondescript. She travels the world. She moves in those circles. If you were to see her, you in your little corner driving your little F-150 that you're paying a note on, you're going to look at her and think she's a black person. So she's nobody, because you're going to judge her according to the color of her skin, not knowing that she owns what you are driving. You buying it is putting money into her stock. You need her oil. The gas in your car is part of one of her oil wells over yonder that she owns and invests in. The manufacturing process to convert the oil from the ground to gasoline, she owns part of that too. It amazes me how silly racism is. Amazes me. So you think that she isn't with whom she wants to be? You bet she is. You see how ridiculous it is? Take, for instance, Oprah Winfrey. You all know Oprah. Everyone knows Oprah, right? So Oprah Winfrey went into some country in Europe to go shopping some time ago. Now, probably Oprah has a very recognizable face on the planet, right? And the woman serving Oprah says she doesn't serve black people because they don't have money. She didn't know it was Oprah Winfrey. The purse Oprah wanted to buy is by a designer who knows Oprah personally. So when Oprah decided to go public and talk about it, it was embarrassing to the designer, because that's not he and Oprah. He wants Oprah to buy his stuff, because then everybody in the world will go buy. That person looks silly as hell. Little person who probably gets paid how much an hour thinks that she's disparaging against a person based on the color of their skin, instead of not knowing that that person owns her. She was owned. Happens all the time. You all practice it, Well, we look at people and, oh, you're insignificant. I see it all the time. And it's stupid and silly. Cut it out. It's silly. This racism stuff is silly. It's stupid. Let me ask you something. When you go, if you're in an accident and you need blood and you go to the hospital and they're going to give you blood and you need O positive blood, here's the biggest joke on humanity. Did you know that O positive blood is mostly by Black people? Because we have they say it's something about your lung capacity. And that's why Black people, most athletes, Black athletes are O positive. The other popular one, I think, is A positive. And that's mostly amongst people who are white. Did you know that? O positive. You know what O positive is? Universal donor. I can give blood to everybody else, but I can't take everybody's blood. But my blood, the last time I gave blood, they want me to come and give blood. Heck to the no. I nearly died. I'm not doing that stuff. Because my blood, they say, is rich in nutrients because I eat well. So they want me to give blood to everybody. So now imagine you go to the hospital and you need blood. And the blood you need is going to save your life. Are you going to ask if this blood was donated by a white man, a Black man, an Islamic man, a Chinese person? Or are you going to take the gift of life that is in that blood? Food for thought. The next time you encounter someone being racist and they want to have a conversation with you, ask them that question. They might just, out of carelessness, just say, no, I won't take your blood. You say, you're a hypocrite. That's how silly you are. Because at that life-changing moment, you're going to take the blood that is going to save your life. This is what I call God's joke on humanity. We're all down here fighting over stupid stuff. And God is like, I'm going to fix it for you. I'm going to give you something to think about. In much the same way, I've said this many times, there are about 1,700 billionaires in the world. They all gather together to determine world policy. It gives you food for thought because now you start thinking the world is structured the way it is because they want it that way. Okay? They want you to buy their products. They want you to go work and buy their products. Right? So here you are fighting. And at the top, the 1,700 billionaires who control the commerce and the politics in the world and the money in the world, they're all a mixture of humanity. They're Black, they're white, they're Indian, they're from Asia, they're Pakistani. They look like the faces of humanity. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. At that level, when they go to the same places to party, they talk to the same people, right? And they party and have a good time. And you are down here fighting for scraps. You think when Jeffrey Epstein was having sex with those underage girls, you really think those people discriminate? Ask any prostitute you ever met, any sex worker, ask her. They don't discriminate. Sex is sex. They'll tell you, I want that, I don't care who you are, just give it to me. Think about it. So here you are, sitting at your desk. You're the human resources person, and people apply for jobs, and you're going to discriminate against them based on color. You're the loan officer. Somebody walks into your bank to apply for a loan, or somebody applies online for a loan, and you're going to review their demographics and deny them based on color. You're silly. You know the guy who owns the loan company and owns the company that backs the loan company? You think he cares about your color? What he cares about is the bottom line. Get that loan so I can get that money. He has big money waiting on that. Think about it. People who are racist, the racism, the ideology of it is silly. That the medical profession have been the qualifier for racism. The medical profession should have been what shut racism down. Instead, they perpetuated it. Here is the biggest lie. Did you know that in medicine, right? In medicine, think about it. Underneath the skin, we're all the same. We're all made up of capillaries, cells, bone, and tissue. Cells, bone, and tissue. Underneath, take this off. It's all the same. So what you fighting about? This? Matter of fact, you don't even know what color you see, because now the more you learn about science is the more you realize that color is a matter of perception, that our eyes are designed to function in a certain way, that we perceive that a certain color is blue or red or green. Think about that. Underneath, we're all the same. I wear braids, right? So my daughter says it like this. She says, Mom, when white people tell you they like your hair, they're saying, look at you, mixed chick, embracing your Negro ethnicity. And I'm like, girl, you need to stop it. I'm like, baby, stop it, stop it, stop it. I kid you not. I get that a lot. I get it a lot. Do you think I find it offensive? I'm amused. I just smile and keep it going. Good morning, Patrick. I just smile and keep it going. Do you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is we need to cut it out. We need to get rid of it. Discharge it. It makes no sense. We're out here profiling people and judging people. And you go into certain rural white communities in this country, and the poverty that you see leaves you breathless. You ever been down to Tennessee and Kentucky and the Appalachian Mountains and seen poverty? You remember the story that broke a few months ago where people were going into caves to look for copper? That's endemic generational poverty. They have no teeth. They don't even look. And you're like, and you're up here fighting about foolishness. So I'm challenging you, because you think you are powerful, because you sit in an office and you determine how people get a job. You determine how people get a loan. You determine the breadth of someone's existence. So that makes you feel powerful. You're going to have an accounting to tell, and you're going to tell it before you die, because invariably people like you don't leave this earth peacefully. You can't. You have to sit back and watch what happens as a result of your racist thought. It's just like prosecutors and judges everywhere who are racist. You profile people based on color. Like your generations of ancestors didn't contribute to the endemic poverty that has caused the social ills in their community. Come on now, get it together. You're sitting up there acting like you're judge and jury, like your generational ancestors weren't pulling slaves and didn't cause 400 years of generational poverty, and you don't think there's an accounting for that? And you've had 400 years of generational wealth. Come on now, somebody. And you think come on, put it together. So now your descendants are getting it together. They don't care about that. This generation, they don't care. The millennials, they don't care what people look like, sound like, think like. They only care about people. Are you in this with me? Can you help me with this startup? Can we make a life together? That's what they care about, because they realize how destructive patterns we have set with racism, colorism, sexism, and every kind of ism and classism. They realize how destructive it is. They're like, we don't want any part of that stuff. Let's just try to live together. I keep asking this question. A few months ago, in early July, we had a situation, right? We had a few scorched earth days, and it kind of flew by in the political dialogue and discourse of the day. We were more focused on the politics than we were focused on things that matter. The things that mattered were not what Mr. Trump was saying when he came off Air Force One. That didn't matter, because that's going to change in 24 seconds, much less 24 hours. You know what mattered? The fact that Europe was having scorched earth days where temperatures reached over 90 degrees in most of Europe. That has not happened in 100 years. So in those scorched earth days, we didn't pay attention. You know what we should have paid attention to? Because we live on the same planet. What goes around comes around. When they had a scorched earth day, we had it here in America first. Then it goes around, rotated around the planet, landed in Europe. A few weeks later, it came right back around. That's instructive. It missed you all, didn't it? Yeah. Because we weren't paying attention to what we should pay attention to. That what goes around comes around. But more importantly, it mattered that it happened because now we need to fix it. Instead, we're paying attention on political rhetoric and people enjoying the cameras. And you paying attention to the color of my skin and judging me based on it. So a group of people get together. I'm going to tell you the story, and I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to call people out, right? It has got to stop. So here I am. I set up a nonprofit, the Exodus Foundation, to help victims of human sex trafficking. I don't care what color you are, because if I want to get government grants, I can't discriminate. And you already know me. I don't discriminate. You need help? You need help. I don't care what color you are. I'm not going to define you by that. I'm going to define you by your need. The people who control the grants are white women. You think I got any? They gather in their little enclaves and they sit down and pick at people and pick at people. I was partnering with a firm. I forgot that it was run by them. Jesus, I've completely forgot. The girl who approached me was black. So, I said, all right, let's meet with the people. They don't want to meet because they don't want me to have money, because they want to be the only ones who have money. I call them suckers out. You're racist. Oh, no, we're not, because we do this. I'm like, you are racist. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to tell you is how racist they are. I'm calling it out because sometimes the people who say that they're liberal are the most racist. White liberals are the most racist people on the planet. They're condescending. And the way they do it is this. You think Republicans are racist? The thing with Republicans, I've found, the difference is they're going to listen to you talk. And they're going to judge you based on you. So they're going to listen to you and then determine that they're going to judge you. But white liberals, this is their blanket approach. I am better than you because I know more than you. And because I am better than you, I know what is good for you. So sit down and you don't say anything. You sit in your corner like a good boy until I touch you to come out of it. That's their approach. And if you don't believe me, just look around you. It's going to blow your mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Be very careful. So you think, well, they're liberal and so on. Judge the individual, not by their politics. Because sometimes what they espouse is just what they espouse to be progressive or to sound progressive. Doesn't mean they really are. And a lot of you get caught up in that. Yes, you do. Because you think, well, they're with me. You got to understand this. I keep telling you, I'll go for the money. Money is a qualifier. If Donald Trump didn't have money, he wouldn't be president. Because at first, nobody supported him. So he used his money and bought his way into American politics and created a dynasty and a legacy for his family, right? How it's going to pan out, we'll see in just a short time. We're going to see it, whether it's a dynasty or a legacy or not, right? Get the money, because racism is real. And the people who practice it, they're all down here. Look at it this way. Steve Jobs, his father is Syrian. His father was a Syrian immigrant. Steve Jobs, y'all know who that is? The man who he developed Apple. Was his idea. Apple computers, iPhones, iPads, iPods, Steve Jobs, the son of a Syrian immigrant. If Steve Jobs had looked like a Muslim, would he have gotten this far? No. But he looks like a white man. He kept his hair low and so on, because he knew the inherent prejudices that existed would not have made him gotten as far as he did in that time. It's a little more open today, but then it wouldn't have. Think about that. Think about that seriously. The guys who created Google, one of them is a Russian refugee. They're as mixed as a bottle of ketchup, right? Think about it, how we marginalize people based on color, on just this. I get tanned in the summer, and then my tan goes away when the sun isn't shining anymore. And you're going to judge me based on this instead of who I am. That's what happened with me. And the group of white women. I mean, they don't even want to talk to you. They talk to you and they talk to you while they're judged. Oh, because they don't want you to get there. I'm warning you all, because you're all acting like everything is hunky-dory and stuff, and you're not fighting the real fight. Get the money. But did that stop me? I laughed at them, because I know what they don't know. I am going to win. Might take me longer, but guess what? I don't quit, and I win. You see what I'm saying? Go get your money, people. Get the money. It will open your mind up. You'll see the world in a different way. And some of you all need to get out some more. You don't travel enough. It's not enough that every summer you go down south to family reunion and spend hundreds and thousands of dollars. Go overseas. Go to Europe. Go to Africa. Go to Asia. See how people live in different lands. See how people perceive you being American. And don't condescend. When you go to other places, go with an open mind. Don't act like, well, you expect them to bring your morning coffee just like they do here in America. It doesn't work that way. You need to get out. Sometimes when people start talking, I am smiling because I'm like, you don't get out much. A few weeks ago, my daughter was buying a car, right? Hey, Mike Springer. And I am Harriet all day, every day in my skin. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, so pray for me. Because my soul is sanctified, but my mouth, it ain't sanctified yet. So pray for me. Stretch your hands out and pray for me. I kid you not. And I'm sitting across this man in the dealership. And while my daughter was taking care of business, I am talking to the sales manager, who is a white man of a certain age. You know, he's like 65. And he started telling me where he grew up. He grew up in Mount Clemens, which from where we were was a few miles, maybe about 10 miles. And this is him. I kid you not. He said, we've lived in Mount Clemens all our lives. So I looked at him. And literally, I sat back in the chair, y'all, and crossed my legs. Now, be careful when I start sitting back and crossing my legs, because you're about to get ripped apart. And I looked at him. And I'm like, how cute. And he said, how cute? I said, yes. I said, I grew up in the Caribbean. I have traveled the world. I've been to South America. I've been to Europe. And I choose to live in America. And you've spent all your lifetime in one small town. How cute. I was being condescending, y'all, without him. It took him a while to realize that what he had considered to be his bastion, his strength, the fact that he was so condescending to other people because he's white and he has had, you know, a few, he worked all his life. So he has always had what I call expediency of currency, right? He thought he was it. And then you're sitting across from someone who has traveled the world and lived in places he has only dreamed of. He can only dream of. I've done things he can only dream of. I kid you not. I wanted to laugh him in the face. But I said, you know what? I'm going to save my laughter because it's not even worth it right here. That's how silly we look when we're racist. Did you know that sometimes you send your kids to college? They're going to school with people who come from other lands who are probably so wealthy they could buy you out. And here you are saying, well, she just come from the Philippines. I don't even know what they eat down there. You sound silly. Stop it. It happens with Black people too. You sound silly. Get a life. Go read up on other people. Go learn some. Open your mind and expand your mind so you don't, when your kids take people home, you don't sound like, are your family like country or something? I mean, like they have some cute ideas, that we haven't seen practiced in a while. Amazes me. I'm sitting across from this guy. I have socialized with people at the upper echelon of societies I've lived in. And this man sitting across from me is using the color of his skin as a line of demarcation between me and him. And he can't traverse the worlds that I have been in. Talk to me, people. I'm like, this dude never been on a supersonic jet. Talk to sister who has been on a Concorde jet before they took them out of service. Never socialize. I'm like, dude, you ever been on someone's yacht? Huh? Talk to me now. Do you see what I'm saying? It is ridiculous. You're all looking at me like ridiculous. Racism has no place in our common discourse today. And especially in our relationships. I don't know why I'm saying this, because for some of you, your kids just went to college, or maybe your child is about to come clean and tell you they're in love with someone who is of a different ethnicity than you normally would believe. And you can't bring out the racist card. If you're black, you can't say, well, they come from there. I don't know what they eat. They eat different stuff. They look different. That's blah, 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 blah. Shut it up. People are people are people. You realize in today's, I'm about to wrap this up. In today's medical profession, you do realize that people today, right? I'm having trouble with my internet. You do realize that when you go to the doctor today, you're actually with people from a different persuasion, right? You do realize that, right? And so what happens is, if you're on this internet, just click over to the other Facebook feed, because I don't know what Facebook is saying. It's the internet, right? But do you see what I'm saying? So we got to get to the stage where we can see that what we are saying about people is not true, right? Glendon King, talk to me. Call us love. Y'all talk to me, right? Do you see what I'm saying? We need to cut it out. So here's this. I want everybody today, I want you to think of ways in which you might have been prejudiced to someone, and I want you to pray about it. You may not have to go back to the person, but you definitely have to come clean before God. And I want you to practice to judge people based on who they are, not what they look like. Start it. We all need to. We're going somewhere, and we need to do that. My prayer for you today as we close, my prayer for you, I got to go. My prayer for you is that we come to a place where we recognize that we're human and we need people, and that we open our hearts, not based on what we see, but based on what we perceive. Perception is everything. Perceive ye therefore who people are, and act accordingly upon that. Go to my website, harrietkemmock.com. Go to the exodusfoundation.com. We'll come back tomorrow and pick this up right where we left off. Be blessed, everybody. Hey, everybody. Catch you all. Catch you up. Catch up with you. Be blessed. Be blessed. Thanks for joining. Be blessed.